welcome back to the Looking Glass Letterbox for Teatime and Tarot. This is a general daily reading, so it's not for any particular person, any specific question. It's a shuffle of the cards to see what the tarot serves up to consider today. I've been doing these readings since January, so if you're new here and this is clicking and resonating with you, check the playlist, see if there's anything else that appeals to you that may be in line with what it is that you are considering for yourself moving forward in the future. But again, these are general, so if it clicks, if it connects, hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Keep it in your pocket to consider as you decide what you're going to be doing or what you want to think about. If it doesn't click, if it doesn't connect, then leave it, then it's not for you. We're going to go ahead and begin here. The past couple weeks have been a lot of discussion about preparing for stepping into expansion, stepping into the next evolution of what it is that you'd like to develop for yourself in your own life. It's going to be specific and individual to everyone. Everyone's different, everyone has their own things. But we've had a lot of 10s on the table, so that's a reevaluation of how you got to the place that you are and finding out what you know now that you didn't know then. This particular week, it's about how you are physically feeling in the space, preparing yourself physically. How do you want to feel? How do you want to show up? How do you want to behave? What are your routines? What is your structure? What is your behavior? What is your active endeavor currently in your life, so that you can be in preparation of things that you would like to change or adjust or implement or release for the next stage of expansion, moving into Gemini season. That's the intellectual expansion. Currently, we're coming to the end of Taurus season. That's about what do we have, what are we stabilizing, what are we preparing in order to develop moving forward. And that's likely regarding something that arose or occurred or inspired you in Aries season that you wanted to select to be like, you know what, this is something that I really want to be a part of my life. This is something that I really want to endeavor to develop. So that's where we are currently. So today, what we have to think about is the Eight of Cups. Okay, so that is our emotional attachments to the past. Rose here is walking away from the Eight of Cups down a mysterious path lit by the moon under reflected light in search of the Nine of Cups, of what the wish is, of what it is that she wants. So what is it that you want that has emotional resonance, that is going to be something that you are seeking for emotional fulfillment? Actively, because she's actively walking away from this Eight of Cups. So these cups represent emotional ties to things that have been fulfilling in the past, but are no longer active. They are stagnant at this point. They were valuable to you at one point. They were useful to you at one point. They provided to you at one point, but they no longer have purpose for you. So the emotional attachments to things, it can drag on your enthusiasm to move forward to something else, because these need to be let go of and left behind or released. Or adjusted or addressed in a way that make them applicable to how you want to move forward in the future. So considering your emotional attachments and how those things are going to be affected when we move into the expansion of Gemini season and moving further into the zodiac year. All right, and that's at the point of 8, so that it does require strength of integrity, character, will, and sort of that radiant heart, how that is responding emotionally to the situations that you are considering changing. Okay, so that emotional bond, that emotional tie is a very difficult one to reconcile, because there's guilt in there, there's shame in there, there's not of the having of it, but in the walking away from them because of what they used to provide to you. And it's not just in romantic relationships, and it's in your emotional relationship to everything in your life. So friends, work, community, it's your emotional life. And we have emotional attachments to a great spectrum of things. So take a time to consider, what is it going to be emotionally difficult for you to navigate away from when you are seeking for your Nine of Cups of what it is that you want. There are going to be things that are emotionally tied to you that are going to want to restrain you. They're going to want to hold you back. So considering how you're going to navigate and address those issues is something that requires your strength. All right, and then in the center we have a double draw. So we have the Seven of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so this is sort of, what are you waiting for? And what you're waiting for is likely attached to your emotional connection to people, places, things, circumstances, that sort of things about yourself that you are that you find emotionally difficult to address, right? So 7 of Wands is how your active endeavor has gotten you to this top of this hill. You're standing your ground. You're maintaining the status quo, but you're stuck. You're not moving. There's momentum building up behind you because this is related to the Chariot. So there's momentum building up behind you that will propel you forward once you make the difficult decisions with the 2 of Pentacles. Pentacles is the material world, the practical stuff that is going to affect your manifested life, external to you. So what are you maintaining? What are you sustaining? What are you going to take along for the ride to develop and to secure? What are you releasing? What are you letting go of? What do you want to implement? What do you want to bring into that process? Remaining that calm, flexible, adaptable center of calm balance in making those decisions is going to be key, because they're going to be difficult decisions. She's been stuck on the top of this hill for a while now. And there's going to come a time where, okay, it's time to make the choice. Are you going to do this or are you not going to do this? You know, and if it's related to your 9 of Cups, of what it is that you are seeking, what it is that you really want, how are you going to say no to it? Okay, the way that you say no to something like that is by refusing to address the changes that need to be made in order to do so, because they're difficult decisions, they're difficult adjustments, because they likely have emotional bonds to things that are difficult to address, whether that be within yourself or outside of yourself. So considering those things is what's called upon here. And then we have the 8 of Wands. Okay, 8 of Wands. So we have 8 of Cups on one side, 8 of Wands on the other. So that's a beautiful balance, because the excitement, the enthusiasm, the potential, the opportunity, the circumstances, the communications that are going to be in favor and amplified right now, because 8 of Wands has shown up quite a bit and often amplified by strength, which is ruled by the sun. It's the card of Leo, so it's amplified opportunity. So it's like a sign that the time is now to consider what you're going to do. Is it going to be yes, or is it going to be no? And if it's going to be yes, what is your plan? And if it's going to be no, what is your plan? You need a plan in either circumstance, but opportunity is approaching, activity is approaching. How are you going to physically respond to the decision that you make? Okay, and then we have, let's go to the bottom of the deck, Temperance. Okay, so this is the space between. This is a transmutation. This is the between what was and what will be. There's the space where the change happens. We've had death show up, the death card show up several times last week, and I think the beginning of this week actually. So that is the ending of the ending of one life in preparation to the opening up of another life. We've had the 10s on the table. It's the end of one cycle in preparation of opening up to the next cycle of development in all areas of your life. We've had every single 10 on the table. So Temperance is a time for self-care. It's a time for rest and consideration and allowing the change to happen, and considering how you want to respond to those changes that are being made. Because regardless of what you do, time moves on. The wheel keeps turning. Changes are going to occur with your permission or without. So do you want to be an active participant in those things? Or are you going to stand still and let things change around you and respond in that way? It's, of course, up to you. It's totally your prerogative what you choose to do in your own life. But consider what the changes are. Consider how things have been and how you would like them to be, what it is that you have developed, what it is that you are hoping to develop, and what is going to be required of you when that change occurs, because it's going to change regardless. Okay, that's something to consider. It's also the card of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is about freedom and wandering and adventure and exploration. is Sagittarius. Okay, so then we have the Four of Swords at the top of the deck. The fours, again, they ride with the Emperor. We talked about that this week. The Emperor is like, okay, you want to do something? Let's do it. Let's go. Get your stuff. Get your keys. Get your bag. We're going. What do you want? And we're going to figure it out. The Emperor, when he decides to do something, he does it. Okay, so with the fours, the Four of Swords, it is coming to a point of stability and clarity and prioritization in your intellectual body, in the mental space, so that you are prepared to make decisions. And likely because Gemini season is approaching in a couple of days, it's getting ready to open up, and that's the intellectual expansion of the scope of the decisions that are going to be available to you and how you apply yourself to those things. So coming to a Four of Swords space is going to be significant in allowing you to be prepared to make efficient and effective decisions for what it is that you would like to develop or experience or come into connection with. All right, and then in the center of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, again, riding with the Emperor. Be excited, be enthusiastic with this sort of, if you feel like it is coming to the time where a difficult decision needs to be made because you recognize that you have been feeling stuck, that you haven't been able to go anywhere, and that's sort of collectively what's been happening for a lot of people. I mean, the pandemic that has occurred has shifted the perspective and the awareness and the situation of the lives globally, So you are not going to be the only one who is feeling like, okay, this is where I am. What the hell am I going to do to get out of this space and move one way or the other? You know, how do I want to choose to carry on? Because the choice is yours, and what opportunities and that you come into contact with and how you operate in that space in order to make the most of it, and how that your emotional responses to that are going to be significant as well. But some of this heaviness of the Eight of Cups, because it is a difficult thing to do, to move away from what you're used to in the direction of something that is unknown, the unknown quantity. What's going to help in that progression is the Four of Wands, being excited. It's about being excited, enthusiastic about the beginning of something. It's the first point of stability that something has begun, something has been selected and chosen, and you are preparing to move forward into development and endeavor with it. So, allow yourself to be excited about the potential and the possibility. All right, and then we have the Queen of Pentacles clarifying the Eight of Cups. Okay, Queen of Pentacles, it's crowned divine feminine, crowned feminine energy in material aspect of how you create, maintain, sustain, and develop your external world that you are living in. Homework, money, family, health. And clarifying the Eight of Cups here, there is some emotional consequence to changes that need to be made. Some for the better, some are going to be relieving, and some are going to be more difficult to process. So there can be some inadequacy or some fear about shifting those changes that may affect your security and your stability that you have already developed. Nobody wants to lose things that they've already developed, and that's where the emotional resonance comes in, because it is frightening to move into an unknown quantity. But with the Queen of Pentacles, this could be also an earth sign that's going to help to support you through this transition, is the practical application and knowing that if you've done it once, you can do it again. Of the adjustments that need to be made, they are sometimes for the benefit of allowing your abundance to flourish. All right, so that will help you to the practicality and the awareness of how those efforts actually allow you to maintain and sustain what is available for further growth is going to be helpful in processing through the emotional awareness of the changes that are occurring. Okay, and then with the Seven of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, it's the Hanged Man. Okay, so what are you waiting for? Hanged Man is suspended animation, but Hanged Man is also seeing things from a different perspective. He is upside down, so he is seeing the world from an angle that he hasn't considered it before. So if you take the picture of your life and you flip it upside down and you consider it from an observer space, it looks unlike you know it. It looks unfamiliar. You're going to notice connections and situations and circumstances that you haven't been able to see before because you were looking at it from a specific point of view from so long that things changed and evolved and worked in ways that you didn't quite realize. So with Temperance, taking time in that observer space of the Hanged Man is going to be beneficial in preparing you for the decisions that you're going to be considering coming into Gemini season. Because Taurus season has been about what do we have, what can we stabilize, what can we ground for future development. Aries season was like, okay, what's new out there, what inspiration, what excitement, what enthusiasm, what's bright and new and shiny that I would like to select to integrate into my life moving forward. Okay, so we take that from Aries season, ground it in Taurus season, and now we're preparing to expand it in Gemini season. Okay, and then all of those opportunities and circumstances and information that is going to be available to you are going to come into play, but they're a difficult decision of, okay, yes, I'm going to engage with Eight of Wands, or no, I'm going to hang here with the Eight of Cups. That's a difficult decision to make. Okay, and then clarifying the Eight of Wands is strength. Strength has been very active in the cards these past week. It's the card of Leo. A Leo may be significant to you or supportive to you through this, but Leo in the Wands is Leo's ruled by the sun. The Strength card represents Leo. Leo is the radiant heart shining from within. The sun is the radiant light shining down from above. So this is super amplified opportunity here that's charged up. And strength also speaks of how do you want to feel in the space? How do you want to behave in this space? What are your routines? What are your actions? It's all related to your courage, your conviction, your integrity, your intention, your willingness to participate. And not in a dominant, overbearing sort of way, but a graceful, generous, enlightened sort of way, to where your actions magnetize you so that attention and connection and people are going to seek you out based on how you show up and are present within the circumstances. All right, and then we have how the universe has my back. My vibes speak louder than my words. Okay, so that's just backing up with the Strength card in Leo, and this is sort of heavy water. So this is sort of a quieter, more internal process. This is amplified fire. So this is expressive and expansive and radiant. So how are you aligning your physical presence? Again, what are the vibes that you're giving out? How are you behaving? What is the tone of your voice? What is the energy that you're bringing to the interaction, to yourself in your physical body and in your physical space, and where you are typically in connection with other people and circumstances that can be attracted to you. So in this space of temperance, it is again a time allowing you to consider and prepare and align your head, heart, mind, body, spirit, align all of those things so that you can be aware of the frequency that you are operating within that's going to be most beneficial and healthful and efficient for you and what it is that you would like to endeavor towards. Okay, that's all that I have for today. Remember to subscribe, like, share if you like what's happening here. And I will see you guys tomorrow.